Let me introduce you to my friends over here, over at the Suspension Trainer.
Let's do it. Take two. Back
I messed
exercises.
up the first one. I'm not gonna lie.
Justin, let's see. What are you gonna show us today for back?
Okay, guys. So what I'm gonna do is a single arm row, and I'm gonna go ahead and do that with rotation. So the first thing that I like to do personally is I'm gonna kind of put these together and tie them together. So as we go through here.
He just shoved that through there super fast.
Yeah, I'm gonna tighten it up. I'm gonna get it to one handle. I'm gonna start at the top, and I'm gonna rotate it down. As I get down to the end, I'm gonna rotate.
Oh, so you're opening up at the bottom and then pulling up
and then
at the top.
Row and pull up, so that way I get a nice.
Excellent. So you'll notice Justin is tight throughout the entire body. He's using this free hand as a guide, and he's keeping it wide and pointing down at the bottom, and then keeping it wide, swooping around and pointing up at the top.
And I can make this more intense, obviously stepping forward. So that's just kind of one of my go-tos.
Something important to note, I've taught this exercise many times, the control that Justin is doing, I think is so, I think when you see people do this, they get into this flailing their arms out, opening up, and the idea is to control the entire movement nice and slow. It's not a speed thing. I see people doing these exercises sometimes, and they're not keeping their core nice and rigid and tight as they move through that whole.
You're breaking at the hips, and the hips are hinging back, and it becomes this sort of a momentum-based exercise.
Would you guys say that that's probably the biggest issue, right? Is just lack of control with suspension trainers?
Well, and this is absolutely that's the problem, and it's also what the great benefits of actually training.
This is what it's training.
The idea is that you're supposed to control your entire body while you do these movements, and I think some people get so caught up in the, oh, it's for this muscle, and they're just thinking about the muscle, but the real benefits of using a suspension trainer is the body control that it requires. That's why I think it's such an awesome tool, is you gotta pay attention to your entire body while you're in a suspended position trying to work out and isolate a small muscle. So.
Very cool. So I wanna show a version of a pullover. Now the lats, you know we do rows and we do pull downs and we hit the lats, but really one of the actions of lats is taking the humerus, bring it down by the side of the body. And so you can isolate the lats by keeping the arm straight, and you'll see this with a dumbbell pullover, or there's machines that do pullovers. You can also do a pullover with a TRX. I like these TRX pullovers because of the control needed in order to do them, just like what Adam was talking about. So I'm gonna take both handles, I'm gonna walk out, and I'm gonna extend my arms out in front of me, and I'm gonna stay nice and tight. So this is the beginning of the movement, and this is where I'm gonna require the most control, is this top position here. Right, you know, the top of the movement. So I'm gonna start here.
Everything's staying nice and rigid and tight. He's having to activate his core. His glutes are probably firing to keep his hips in position.
Now, keeping my arms straight and tight, I'm gonna pull them down, up by my side, squeeze my lats, and then come out real slow and controlled into the stretched out position. So this is what the movement is looking like, and I'm coming up nice and tight.
Some people might call this also a Superman position, but basically all the same concept. You're
excellent.
Really making sure to squeeze on your way back to engage the lats.
A lot of abs get incorporated here too, because
especially at this part.
Because this kind of, if you pay attention to what he's in, it's real similar to like the ab roller, where you're opened all the way up and you have to brace your core when you're in this extended position. So lats are definitely involved. They're what's responsible for pulling Sal back into that starting position, but you will get a lot of abdominal work from this exercise too if you're doing it correctly.
I noticed some good shoulder mobility from that as well.
Yeah. So I like the row, and there's lots of variations to the row on here. I'm going to do a more challenging one, and then I'll show you a regression to that. So an inverted row. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab hold of the handles, and then I'm actually going to walk myself underneath the suspension trainer, and then I'm going to lift my hips up. So activate the glutes, hips are up, chest is up, and then I can come into a row. And you can make that more challenging by getting directly underneath it, and we can make it easier by backing away from the squat rack.
And then you'll notice here with this movement, Adam comes forward. So as he comes forward, he lets the scapula round, and at the top, so round, and at the top, he squeezes the scapula together. So you're letting the shoulders round and then come up and squeeze them together. So you get that full activation here of the mid-back. This is a great posture exercise. It really works on opening up the shoulders. Excellent movement. So look, we post a new video every single day. Subscribe to this channel, and you'll get a notification when we post a new video. Also, go to mindpumpmedia.com and check out our 30 days of coaching. It's free.